Welcome everyone to Incubator Graduation Night. Woo! All right. Come and grab a seat. Our main event is going to be starting in 15 minutes. I'm going to give you a little bit of overview first, but an introduction more in terms of you're here at the Incubator. We're actually at the end of a 5-month program, so let me give you a little bit of information there. But ultimately, in terms of what we're trying to do at the Incubator is actually foster innovation for the benefit of our collective customers. And who wins? It's founders like you. So just in case there's forward-looking statements, won't be coming from me because I'm not going to be talking about any technology, but please base your investment and purchasing decisions on what's in the product today. So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone, especially our Incubator cohort members who actually made this cohort an awesome cohort. So a little round of applause for those folks. We've seen tremendous innovation and amazing feedback, not just from the people that were in the Incubator program itself, but also from some of the community of folks that are around the Salesforce ecosystem who actually knew to kind of knock on the door. It's like, hey, I wonder what's going on at the Incubator. It's going to be a lot easier for the next cohort, and I'll talk about that in a second here. But in terms of our graduating batch, how many folks were here for the pre-show? Okay, so we had enough. Great. Wonderful. So the pre-show, we actually did a product reveal. It wasn't a formal demo day, but those of you that actually got to view it, I think that we're in for a lot of exciting stuff. So just first and foremost, in terms of setting the stage here, the Incubator is a 5-month program. As I said before, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to foster innovation for the benefit of our customers. And how do we do that? It's based on 3 pillars. The first one is that we decided to do individualized programming. We accept companies at various stages, so we didn't want to have a cookie-cutter approach to it. So we developed program plans, project plans for each of the companies. The other piece of it is that we want to kind of instill an essence of thought leadership, but really forward thinking in terms of going to market, developing product. We've been blessed to have fantastic advisors here and guest speakers. You're going to be seeing tonight a great panel, which is another example of that. But what we do with that is we're going to be using that as a vehicle to bring all of you, the collective community, into that, because this is amazing content that we want everybody to be able to benefit from. And then the last piece is about culture. And the people in here have developed their own culture, but they actually feed off of what Salesforce is. And a lot of that is based upon our core values, which include diversity and equality. And talking about in terms of those core values, fundamentally in terms of our core values in terms of trust and growth in terms of our customers in particular, obviously we're passing that on to our Incubator partners, our Incubator companies and partners alike. But one of the things also in terms of focus is the innovation piece is very fundamental to what we do. The last one, which seems to be nebulous, I think can be actually demonstrated in kind, and that's specifically our equality and diversity value. And what we did is we actually have an entrepreneur in residence here, Jesse Martinez. He has a new offering. Hey, Jesse, way to go. He has a new offering in terms of Spark America. If you're interested in particular in terms of a community-based approach to investment, we're getting not just the investment community, but also individuals within the community involved in providing opportunity for all. Now, this is obviously for some underrepresented communities. I invite you to speak with Jesse afterwards. But he's been doing a great job here. And thank you, Jesse, for helping on the diversity side. He's helping us as we move forward in terms of scoring up, if you wish, in terms of equality and diversity. So just the first cohort by the numbers, I think that we had a kind of phenomenal successes across the board, but just a few of the highlights here. We had tons of activity in terms of just core development here, over 100 sprints and releases, if you count them all. Over 184 customers acquired, which is great. We're not just in here thinking about things. The other element here is that we had hosted over 45 talks, lunch and learns, and other types of talks. One of them you're benefiting from right now. 52 new jobs created. Okay, new hires. We have expanding, growing companies. which is great. And then we also booked more than 370 advisor hours. And this was just from looking back in terms of my calendar, in terms of the introductions that were made. And I know that there was tons of advisor time that was done just collectively between the cohort as well. So that was awesome. So cohort 2, a lot of people are saying cohort 1's over. When's cohort 2 coming? May 1st. We're going to be focused on intelligent apps for the enterprise, and this is going to be leveraging Einstein for doing this. This is going to be a very interesting time, so any folks in terms of the AI machine learning community, keep your ears open because we're going to be inviting you in for a lot of our key events as well. So now what I want to do is I want to just briefly have a couple of our founders, a few of our founders actually come up. A couple of panels here. I want to actually get panel number 1, if you can please come up. We have our folks, and this is our folks. I put them into 2 buckets here. The first one is go-to-market acceleration. These are folks that have actually been focusing on taking product and getting to market faster. Thank you. And we have our microphones. Thank you, Melanie. Yeah. Great. So thank you, and welcome to the panel. Why don't we just very quickly just go down through the line here for just a brief introduction, and then we're going to start our discussion.
Hi, I'm Deepa. I'm the CEO and founder of Wootrick, a customer feedback management platform.
I'm Ray Hines, CEO of Propel PLM. We're focusing on propelling business and propelling innovation with enterprise product lifecycle management.
Gil Alush, founder and CEO of Metadata, a account-based targeting platform for B2B enterprises.
Hi, I'm Chris from Proximity Insight. We create powerful sales tools for retail sales associates.
I'm Will from Nova.ai. We create machine learning and AI-driven tools for salespeople.
I'm Emilio Bernabe from LeanCore, project management and workflow.
Excellent. So just in terms of go-to-market acceleration, some of the things that I've actually seen many of you actually do really well is take advantage of the time that you've been here at the incubator. And for each of you, I think it was a little bit different, but fundamentally, you know, this 5-month period, it was about programming, about actually working with peers, and then from an advisor perspective also getting connections to folks in Salesforce, but also what we did is we brought in other folks from outside as well. So I wanted to just have a discussion here in terms of what was the most impactful thing, or something that was that ultimately helped to plot the path forward for you in terms of some discovery that you had at the during the incubator period. If one of you can start that off.
I'll jump in first. So I think initially when we first got in, the biggest impact on our go-to-market strategy was actually sitting down with some advisors and actually understanding what our positioning and go-to-market strategy was. So I think that was the best thing that could happen to us at the start, because we had some really good ideas, but we didn't really solidify it into a good go-to-market strategy. So that was a great start. And then furthermore, we worked with the retail team, so the Salesforce teams, and aligned our strategies, which has actually opened up about 50% more targets for us just by aligning strategies.
Excellent.
I'll go second. So one of the things that we benefited very, very quickly from the incubator is those connections Mike made with the product management team, with the marketing team, with the sales team at Salesforce, and it actually saved us a whole lot of time because we were starting to build a pretty big, sophisticated big data infrastructure for our product, where we learned about this thing coming up, Einstein. You know, I was put in touch with the product manager, then with the director of product management, and they really gave us a lot of intel to understand what's being built and what we shouldn't build because it's already coming up. And so we were able to use the 2080 rule by understanding where Salesforce is going, the Venn diagram, where exactly we shine, and really concentrate our product development on that point. So that saved us a lot of time and also gave us a little bit of insight into what's coming up with Salesforce, which represents 85% of our customer base.
I think to add on, as I showed earlier, you know, we created a new capability that links into Sales Cloud and also into the Steelbrick or the Salesforce CPQ side. And so the accessibility of the product management team and strategy team there to really understand our fits and how to extend our product further was tremendous. But I think that if you look at the App Exchange, obviously getting your app through the security review, getting it posted, driving getting it posted and getting it posted is great, but the other big part here that the cohort and the incubator is doing is really access and working the channels through making relationship with Leslie and Layla and the industry marketing teams, and also being able to get access to guys like Jason Lemkin and being interviewed and being in a podcast are things we hadn't anticipated getting when we started this. So it's been tremendous for us on a go-to-market side.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, our single biggest achievement was getting listed on the App Exchange, and I think one of the immediate takeaways we've seen from that is our average deal size went up by 50%, and I think really key to that was being able to understand how a Salesforce sales executive thinks about packages like what Wutrik does. It really helped us understand how to position ourselves, how to value ourselves, and I think that is absolutely critical piece of what we learned in these past 5 months.
Right.
Yeah, and just one thing that's really unique about the Salesforce Incubator, startups are inherently so different. But given that all the companies here have an interest in Salesforce, they're generally B2B SaaS companies, there are certain stages in the development of a B2B company which are universal. So, finding product market fit, finding your first few customers, founder selling, bringing your first sales rep, scaling. So one of the things that I thought was really fantastic is, Mike, Ludo, Melanie, Julia, they were able to bring in a lot of speakers who could speak on certain topics like finding product market fit, knowing when you've got product market fit, thinking about your financing strategy, how much should I raise, when should I raise it, what should the eventual exit plan be for the company, should there be one. I think being that we're all kind of birds of a feather here in the incubator, it really helps to create content and curricula that's really targeted to our specific needs. That's been fantastic.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just wrap up by saying, there's introductions to the Salesforce product management and different people in customer service and different areas that really helped us kind of imbue that whole concept of customer for life. But also it's the broader ecosystem, like systems integrators that we were introduced to that could really help us get into these larger customers that maybe a smaller startup can't really get into right away. And so we used a lot of these different introductions to the broader ecosystem to really propel our business forward. So I'm really grateful for that.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you. So I'm going to bring up now just another group here. We have panel number 2, please, if you can come up. Great. So I think just for the sake of time, we can skip the introductions. We're here, by the way, afterwards, so please come and chase us down. But specifically now, what I wanted to do is bring up some of the folks that were actually coming in. They were more from beyond prototype, but they weren't quite, let's say, at product market fit. They were seeking product market fit. And in particular, what was your experience in terms of this period of time over the last 5 months? That really helped to shift things around and actually help to gel things for you?
I guess I'll go first. I got the mic. I would say that we could never have been successful with our product if we hadn't come here. And what I mean by that is when we walked in the door, we were a services company with the idea for a product and an early kind of alpha version of it. But our mindset was wrong. We were kind of thinking, we'll grow this organically and see where it goes. We'll be a services company mostly. And we're leaving the incubator, a product company that used to be a services company, which was a fundamental shift in our thinking that came about through a lot of mentorship and opportunities to talk to people. I think if we hadn't had all those connections formed, we would never have been able to understand that we had the wrong mindset going into it. And now we actually have a track that we can follow to be successful with our product.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's pretty much a similar experience. In our case, we came in with a collection of technologies, I would say, and a very poor idea of how what the Salesforce user looks like, and the entire evolution of developing a intuition for what does it mean to be a Salesforce user, meeting the customers, working with Mike and team to meet the product managers and align our product for a proper integration for us was a key. Honestly, we built a product, we basically, the biggest evidence is we took what we had and we scratched it the first 2 weeks and rebuilt it entirely based on some of the feedback that we've gotten from your introductions, Mike, and just meeting the Salesforce community. For us, it was really instrumental. I mean, it would have been a no-go, honestly, if it wasn't for us coming here. Cool. So.
Carter Weigel, CEO of Ideator. Things happened for us really fast when we got here. Shout out to Will over at Nova. We had lunch when I think it was our first week here at the incubator, and we were sharing stories about where our startups were, and we're raising money. Will introduced us to an investor that wrote us a $350,000 check after one meeting. So that was helped accelerate us and really towards our path of the fundraising. But we also had a unique opportunity with a large private equity firm that's made a lot of investments in the innovation space, primarily in education and higher education. And they looked at a couple different platforms, Ideator being one of them, to support their program. And part of the reason that they ended up choosing Ideator is they valued that Salesforce had vetted us as a startup, that they were putting their brand behind Ideator. So in the next 2 months, we're actually deploying to over 20 different universities. And so we want to really own that education space. We're getting pulled into a lot of different markets, having an innovation network, whether it's with corporations, different organizations. And so we found our sweet spot right now, which is higher education.
Thanks. Mike Witherspoon. I'm the president and founder of Code Science. We're slightly different than a lot of the companies here in that we're a services company. We just happen to provide services to SaaS companies. We build their products, specifically their AppExchange products. What was really interesting about being here at the incubator was actually getting to work next to our potential clients. We work for them very often and love doing that. But getting to work on the day-to-day and being part of a community of SaaS companies was actually really enlightening onto our customers' experience. So I'd say that's one of our big gains.
Great, thanks. Awesome. KG, just wrap up with you.
So first of all, I want to thank Chuck because he helped our development team really understand the difference between the APIs that we're struggling with, and so we're able to get the product to the state it is in now. What did we learn? Well, first of all, we learned that there are a lot of great founders here that we could get help from, that know a lot of things about things we have no clue about. So we got a lot of help, like Deepa from Wootrick just sent me something just the other day in terms of market sizing. Chuck and others have been there pushing us. And then also, there have been companies that we didn't realize we needed the services from and that could accelerate us, such as Code Science. So that has been truly essential. Beyond that, I mean, we got our product from being pure technology to actually being a product while being here. So we're in the process of just deploying to our first customers right now. And that's an interesting experience that we have been longing for a long time.
That's amazing. Well, I just wanted to provide you an introduction. Thank you, panel number 2. An introduction to everybody here at the incubator.